what's up, Goo? How you doing?
Nah, I'm a little irritated.
Well, you should be.
Now, why?
You should be. All your takes of the last 6 months were flushed down the toilet like that new sponsor we got, FloJo.
Yeah, look at my guy.
Water, plumbing, and drain.
Flowing
we
water.
love them and their partnership.
I love Spadoni.
They've been great early. Good start for them.
Spadoni, who's the new guy in the lab?
What's the matter?
Tell the people who's the new guy in there.
Steven Risotto of SF
Italian.
State.
Okay.
Yeah.
Newspaper?
Golden Gate Express.
Golden Gate Express. I went there. I should probably know
What's
that.
the circulation?
It's great.
Gonna need to circulate. That's what Reggie Jackson used to ask. Reggie Jackson, when he was a major league player, you'd go up to him and say, Reggie,
No way.
you got a minute? And he'd be like, who do you work for? I work for the San Francisco Examiner. What's the circulation?
Wow.
Next question.
What are you so mad about?
I leave the
We're
boss's
starting
office.
on a new era here in Golden
He
State.
goes,
Be
is
excited.
your voice like that because of the rant?
Yeah.
And then Shasky says he's driving around with the lovely Michelle yesterday, and I sound like I'd been partying all night.
Mm-hmm.
I coughed up a lung for a speech for the Warriors. Put some respect on my name.
How'd that go?
Oh, boy. I watched it again last night.
The Warriors or your speech?
The Warriors.
Yeah.
They were slower, more pathetic on offense.
A lot
than the
like your
first time.
speech. Apparently.
Wow.
Now, that speech had way more juice than the Dubs and sacks.
No, Evan, you didn't post it. You didn't like it.
Oh.
You're going to harbor that for a while.
I'm just tomorrow. Evan in for you tomorrow.
Yeah. You know, I don't like.
E-Dog.
You know what? And shame on you, Warrior fans. Shame on, well, not all of you. I mean, I come in, I'm in a good mood today. We're going to embark on a new era.
Yeah.
We're going to figure this thing out.
What happened?
And I'm looking at the text line, and the first text from the 5-1, Klay is cooked. Let him go.
He's not cooked. I do wonder where this thing is going, man.
Yeah, so do I. So do I. We got a lot of sound from yesterday that we haven't played. Steve Kerr was on with Willard and Dibbs. Klay was on meeting the media after the season yesterday. He got on after we got off. But, I mean, it all starts with Klay, right?
No doubt about it.
I mean, Klay's the big, even though no matter what they do, what happens with Klay is going to be the big thing this offseason.
Right, because he is a part of the big three. And I know you're not a fan. I'm the fan of the show, Steiny. I would like to ask you, what do you want to happen? But you may not have anything as far as that. But for me, the fact that Draymond Green, who is not Klay Thompson, got that 4-400, I'll die on this hill until we hear otherwise. I just don't see how the bottle stops spinning for Klay. Now, they offered him, 2 for 48.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little less than 25, but I think they know that was wrong. I expect Klay Thompson, the Warriors, to covet him, but I do wonder how much is he irritated about going to the bench and maybe the organization thinking he wasn't a starter for however long that was.
Here's a couple questions I was thinking about as it relates to Klay Thompson, and that is, should the rules change this summer? And sometimes circumstances change, and it's not Klay's fault, but circumstances change. I mean, if the rules stay the same, Klay's got to be back. Because 2 years ago, they had Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, and they extended both those guys. Last year, they had Draymond Green, and they extended Draymond Green. If they follow the same thought process of the last couple of years, they've got to find a number for Klay, and he's got to come back.
He's got to want to come back.
Well, I would assume he would want to come back if the number is right for him. But that's not the way it is anymore. They're not operating under the same situation, I don't think, Goo, that they were 2 years ago. When they gave their contracts to Poole and to Wiggins 2 years ago, they were coming off a title. Last year, they were coming off a 44-win season, but they still were in a mindset of being a championship team. And here's what Steve Kerr said yesterday with Willard and Dibbs. Take a listen.
It'd be hard for me sitting here with our season over on April 17th, whatever it is, to tell you that we are a championship contender. That would be not the brightest comment I could ever make. I mean, you have to prove that. You can't just say you're a contender. You have to prove it. So, right now we're not, but that's why we have an offseason. That's why you talk to other teams. That's why you look at every possibility to build your roster back up. Every year, I'm always surprised at the deals that happen for any team. You just don't know. So you have to go into the summer with an open mind, and who knows? There might be some deal that Mike and Joe feel like gets us back into contention. Maybe there isn't. If there's not, then what are we looking at? What's the goal? What are we trying to accomplish? And
so if they don't think they're a championship team, that's got to alter their thinking going into the offseason, I would think.
Well, he didn't say that. He said he would be a fool to say that and put that out there, being that they didn't qualify for the playoffs, Donnie. I believe if we were having a Budweiser with him, he would tell us he thinks more than, and I respect what he did. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, how the hell, we didn't even make it, and I'm supposed to sit here and tell you we're a championship team? That doesn't mean he doesn't think, he didn't answer how far they are or far off he thinks they are.
No, but if Steve Kerr said a couple things yesterday that were, to me, pretty interesting. The one that
and then what about the money one? They asked him, Willard asked him about the money. He was like, well, you can't spend a lot of money on a non-playoff team, but I didn't say a lot, but you could spend, it was pretty funny. I don't know if you see that one.
Here's what he had to say about this offseason.
This offseason is going to be different. It's the first time I think that I've really felt like there needs to be some change, but I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't know that Mike knows yet. What we do have, though, is a lot of evidence and a lot of clarity on this year's team and some of the things we lacked and some of the things we need to improve upon.
Wow.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Aren't they setting the table for what we think's going to happen?
Yeah. Well,
I mean, what does it mean? Things are going to be different this offseason. Well, what would make this offseason different?
Trades. Before you even get to Klay, that to me, that was trades I heard maybe. Like, how many people are off limits? That's what I got from that. The Klay is the right on the table. We already know that. That was like change.
888-957-9570. We're going to play a lot of the Klay Thompson sound today. You can draw your own conclusions about how he sounded coming back here and what the possibility of that is.
And what do you want to see happen?
And then at noon, we got Mike Dunleavy, general manager of the Golden State Warriors. He's going to be talking live at noon, and we're going to take that live at noon.
Yeah.
But right now, we're talking about where this team goes. How close was it to being a 6 seed? How close was it to being a championship contender? And if you don't think you're a championship contender, how do you expect Joe Lacob to pony up $25 million for Klay, then pony up $30+ million for Kuminga that'll kick in at the end of next year? That's the part where they keep saying they need to change. Well, the two moves they have to make, or the two moves that are laying in front of them, are Klay Thompson and Jonathan Kuminga. And 2 years ago, they would have just simply given them both contract extensions. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I don't know what's going to happen, but just hearing everything that I've heard, I would be surprised if they re-sign Klay and extend Kuminga. Yeah. Klay for, let's say, over 20 and Kuminga for over 30. And if they do that, I think that means somebody else has to go.
Yeah. And so, I appreciate that.
There you go.
I've been telling you and the listeners, you've been looking slim and trim, but that's your gut feeling. And I'm right behind you, Steiny. So hearing Kerr say he'd like to see some change or lobbying for change, a lot of times when you hear professionals talk, sometimes they tell you things without even saying it. And that's why I'm excited about Mike Dunleavy today stepping to the podium, not to see if he slips up. It's not about that. But, Steiny, if you're smart enough and you got intellect like me, you can the Guru computer will go off and you can hear something being said on the subliminal. Now, I will say this to Warrior fans, and you can be like, oh, Goose, stop. If you think the pain is over for this team not making the playoffs, somebody tweet or text me, IG me, Saturday afternoon when the actual playoff games start, because that's when it's going to hurt. And I'm looking at you right now with your nice shades. Steiny, I just cannot believe this team will not be participating in this year's playoffs.
Why not?
Because that was, the bar was, that was a, why are you laughing? It was a given.
Because you're funny. Because you're funny. Because you went 6 months. You went 6 months with reality, and you spit in it. And every time somebody tried to tell you maybe what you're seeing. But you never said the playoffs
was ridiculous. Getting a date with Beyonce, that's when you laugh.
Yeah,
but
you're
not
right.
This
You're right.
Team
you're right. I wasn't the guy who, when they were sitting at 10 and everyone's saying, well, they can make a run in the playoffs. No, I wasn't the guy that said, they're not in the playoffs.
I'll give you that.
They're not in the playoffs. They were never in the playoffs.
But the biggest skeptic from Jump Street, Steiny, thought this team was going to make the playoffs.
Who?
Everybody. Vegas. There was no not make the playoffs with Steph, Klay, and Dre.
So you're not over it.
No, it's just starting. And Saturday will hurt more.
I can't do this.
Now, what would you describe do this? I'm hurt. That's all. I'm being real, Steiny. Saturday is going to really
how long is it going to last for you to not believe what has just happened, do you think?
Maybe the first round, when the first round's complete.
All right.
Do I sound as bad as I think I do?
You sound like the most delusional fan that I've come across in a while.
Okay,
I'm trying.
Now that hurts. And I know you're not doing it on purpose.
No, I am. I'm actually trying to kind of hurt you.
Do you see where? Evan,
no.
There's no. How many people do you think would have took the bet of
I'm doing a show with a guy who's
would
oblivious.
not make the playoffs at the start of the season? Just focus on that.
They were 19 and 24. Why did you think they were making the playoffs?
Before they
never got out of 9.
All right, before 43 games, Steiny.
They never got higher than 9. How did you just assume they were going to make the playoffs? Because you thought, oh, well, we'll just win a road game against the Sacramento Kings. And then, oh, we'll just win a road game against the New Orleans Pelicans. And, oh, we'll just win a series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. When all season long, the evidence was not supporting that kind of thinking.